All right, so really quick on the announcement. So this is episode number 30. First off, I'd like to thank everybody who tunes in and watches and clicks or shares or any of that good stuff. You can actually now follow our older episodes are going to be added every Tuesday, and a back issue. We'll call them back issues because I feel that that's appropriate. A back issue will be added to 2, as in the number, FB Productions on Facebook. So yes, you can go ahead and follow our back issues on that page. And along those lines, Courtney?
We have an Instagram at @the_story thus far. Thank you to the 108 followers that we have currently. Which is awesome. Yeah, we cracked 100 literally in less than probably 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. So thank you for the 108 people who follow us on Instagram, and hopefully many more to come.
Yes.
So, yeah. And Sean?
The email is storythusfar@yahoo.com.
Yes. You guys excited for the Halloween episode coming up? I know I am.
Yes.
I'm excited for the climax of Chult.
Uh-oh.
But
you being excited doesn't necessarily
we need to be excited, yeah.
It means you guys have to be on your toes.
Thanks.
You guys have to be on your best. Like, you got to bring your A game. It's the only way that Chult, you're going to put it in your rearview mirror. So, but yeah, I'm super excited for the Halloween episode. So,
cool.
Kyle, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Good. And then there will be other stuff for us to share coming down the line. It is kind of like long game stuff, but it's like the beginning of the long game stuff. And when we do, we'll be sure to share it with everybody on the interwebs.
Yep.
And that's about it. So we're good?
Yes, sir.
All right. So episode number 30. The story thus far. Daedalus, Terra, Kohl, and Barag, otherwise known as Valor's Ransom, having chased clues to the ever-elusive Sea Wolves, a privateer pirate crew that have perpetrated a complete slaughter and decimation at Baldur's Gate. You find yourself shipwrecked on a primordial island of Chult. Dinosaurs thrive here on the island, always fervently looking for the next elf or dwarf that they may make into their next prey item. And at night, the dead are restless and they are all consuming. It is an island where you don't necessarily live well, you just manage to continue to live. After being shipwrecked, barely avoiding death at every turn, and having been through several adventures, the 4 of you caught wind of a legend. According to local lore, the famed pirate, Captain Lord Balderon, with his enchanted ship, the Watchful Eye, had landed somewhere on this island during what would ultimately be his final adventure, or at least some would surmise. For some of you, perhaps unaccustomed to the life in the wild, the potential of the Watchful Eye that represents to you is one of passage back to civility. Others of you, perhaps lured by the potential of otherworldly and magical treasure stored in the holds of the ship. And others of you, one of you, cannot help but to think how the possession of the most powerful and legendary ship that has ever or will ever sail the seas and oceans of the material plane might restore you to your former glory as a privateer and a captain to be feared and respected. Having come into possession of a map during your adventures in the desert known as the Sanguine Sands, the 4 of you followed the X on the map, believing that this can lead you to the Watchful Eye. Having taken several days, travel through the jungle, skirting death at every corner, you finally made it to the top of the mountain called Devil's Peak. As you finally summited the mighty mountain of stone, 12,000 feet high in the air, You found it occupied by a nightmare-inducing monstrosity. A Tyrannosaurus Rex, on his own, is formidable. The T-Rex bore not one, but two gigantic heads filled with large, flesh-rending, saber-like teeth, cursed and blighted with an eternal living death. And it was fatal. Valor's Ransom, you fought valiantly. However, the odds were stacked against you, and Terra, you soon fell unconscious. As you fell, the earth shook, the stone trembled, and Rocky, the stone that had been following you, Terra, throughout your adventures, had erupted into a golem. Scarred with arcane insignia, Rocky took position in front of a vulnerable Terra high hill, banged his fists together, and just like that, the tide of the battle had turned in your favor. Finally, you guys ended up felling the beast. But, having never entered the cave indicated on the map, most of you on your last legs, you decided to call it a night, with Barag taking first watch, before suggesting heaving a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex off a mountain. However, he did take first watch, and Daedalus, you've meditated, I'm assuming? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what order is your watch?
I will go third.
Third? Who's going second?
Okay. So I will go second then, right? Because he's meditating. So
you meditate for 4 hours, yes? Okay. Mm-hmm. So he'll still be in meditation once Barag's shift ends.
Yeah, I'll go second.
Okay. All right. So you are sleeping away. I need you to make. I'm gonna have you make a perception roll.
Okay.
With disadvantage.
Okay. 2 1s. 2 1s.
You fall off the mountain.
Yeah, in my sleep, I just roll. Oh man, that's crazy.
Hey, you know what? It's actually kind of fitting. I mean, you are out like a light.
Yeah.
So you miss your second shift. The beginning of your second shift. Daedalus, hour number 4 comes up. You come out of your meditative state, and all of your slots are replenished, as well as your health, and you feel good, but I need you to make a perception roll.
And just a regular one?
Yes. It was a disadvantage for Kohl because he was actually asleep. So.
15.
15. Okay. So as you open your eyes, you stretch out some of the battle damage from your arms, your legs, and you're looking around the camp. Night has fallen. In the distance, you still see that monstrosity of a T-Rex, that living dead thing off in the distance. You still see every once in a while. You'll see. As if something inside is trying to escape, its flesh kind of stretch and then recede back into it. You look around, the fire is almost completely out. It's not been stoked, although there's not much wood on the top of this particular mountain. You're basically using kindling. And as you're looking around, you don't see Barag. You see Barag's armor. His armor he usually takes off and it stands on its own because it's magic. And you see his blades kind of tucked underneath his sleeping bag. But Barag is nowhere to be seen, and Kohl is snoring. He is sawing logs over there.
So I'm gonna go and try and prod Kohl awake.
Okay.
So I go over there and just poke him repeatedly.
Just roll over.
I poke him more. I just like, you mind doing it. I'm gonna try and annoy him awake.
So I keep my eyes closed and just pull my working revolver out of my holster and just point it in the direction of the poke. What?
Hey, it's your shift. You're sleeping through it.
Okay, so I sit up and just like wide awake at the sound of him saying you slept through it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. I'm up.
Okay, well, don't worry, I'll help you keep watch, because being an elf, you need no sleep. So I'll help you through your watch.
Sounds good. And does Kohl notice that Brog is gone?
I would say yeah. Now you do.
Yeah,
It's pretty evident.
Don't know where he went.
You see his armor standing at pretty much at attention. You see his helmet of water breathing on the floor. His sleeping bag hasn't been slept in, but you do see his blades, which he cherishes. But there's no Brog to be seen.
You think he fell off? Let's hope he didn't fall off.
Maybe he went to check out the cave back there. I mean, there's nowhere really to go from here, right? So
maybe, but be pretty stupid to go in without your armor, helmet, and your weapons.
Well, I mean, from what I can tell, he's a little bit of a reckless type. I'm sure he just figured that he could handle whatever happened.
Let's hope so.
Okay. So I just kind of get up and kind of pace around, and I look to see if I can see any like tracks or any evidence that he has moved.
Check.
Okay. That's gonna be wisdom. So that is
Intelligence. Nature's intelligence.
Oh, it is intelligence. Okay.
And if you're proficient in it, you would add your proficiency bonus to the roll. I don't know if you are or not.
Nope.
No.
7.
7. Looks like a mountaintop.
So I go to the mouth of the cave, and I just use my dark vision to peer in and see if I notice anything different.
The cave itself is not a very deep cave. And as you're just kind of standing at the mouth of the cave, it smells very old. Not much. It's far too small for the actual animal that you fought to use as any sort of shelter. I need you to make another perception check.
18.
18. So as you're standing at the mouth of the cave, you see a little bit of glimmer in the moonlight, a little bit deeper into the cave, toward the back of the cave. The cave isn't deep again. It's probably about 15 feet. It's more of a recession into the rock.
Okay.
You can tell that at some point rocks were set up and knocked down, but you don't know why.
The rocks are still there, but they're like scattered or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
they were not worked stone, but they were about the size of a small, like a helmet, and you could see like remnants of maybe a small wall or something having been knocked down long ago.
Okay. Inside this.
Yeah,
small...
just as you're coming to the mouth of the cave, and you're taking a much better look, you can kind of see that somebody kind of was stacking stone here for some reason, and you see something a little deeper toward the back of the cave that's kind of shining in the moonlight.
Okay, so I enter the cave with my gun drawn, and go over to examine whatever's glimmering.
Okay. So as you're looking around, you see bits of what look to be humanoid bone, but it's old. It is ancient. You see tatters of clothing that has been long rotted away. You see a small glass flask that has been broken, a little bit of it shining in the moonlight from the cave entrance, and a rotted away cork that was probably used as a stopper for that flask. And you do see in the kind of like tatters of clothing, you do see a small pouch.
Okay.
But again, most of it has been rotted away.
So I the glass flask is what was shining in the moonlight when I first...
Yeah. It's just, and it's been long shattered.
Okay. So I pick up the pouch and open it up.
It almost falls apart in your hand as you reach for it. There's almost no substance left to it, and as you pick it up, there's a container, usually for scroll storage or parchment storage. It's made of wood, a hardy bamboo wood, with a stopper at both ends.
Okay, so I uncork one end of it and see if there's anything inside.
Okay, so yeah, you pop the cork open. It smells old, and you look inside, and you do see what looks to be some sort of old parchment.
Okay.
Even with dark vision, it's really, really hard to see in a dark cave by moonlight.
So, I actually, right now, I put the stopper back on it, and I look around the cave. I kind of like run my hands along the walls, see if there's anything that catches my senses or seems out of place.
Sure, make an investigation roll.
Man, it's going to be 8.
8. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Other than what you've already found.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I turn back around and I walk out to where Daedalus is, and then I unstop the container and pull the parchment out.
Okay. So it's an old piece of weathered parchment. And it's got a lot of writing on it that kind of trails off at the end.
Okay, so I'm just going to open it up in front of Daedalus so we can both examine it.
You can read it aloud if you'd like.
Okay. It says... Sorry, forgetting
this is the internet.
People listening. Okay, it says... These, I suspect, are my final writings. Reginald Stillwater III, first mate of the Watchful Eye. I have dragged myself to the back of the cave. The two-headed beast cannot fit, but only barely. I have brought the key to this cave, as Lord Balderon has decreed. However, I fear my remains will rest here with it. The Watchful Eye is a ship of many wonders, having breached dimensional rifts and discovered wonders unimaginable, and her best days may still yet lie before her. My Lord Balderon believed only a captain worthy of her will find her. Days have gone by, and I am left with no provisions. I am hungry. It is a hunger I have not known in my lifetime, and I do not wish it upon another. I've turned to small bugs, but it wasn't enough. I consumed the leather bits of my belt and shoes. The magic red liquid I was given has done nothing but prolong my suffering. I awoke to a large rat gnawing my finger, the size of a small canine. I smashed its head in several times with a bit of rough stone. It did not die immediately, but ran about the cave, bleeding, neck broken and twisted and screaming. When it finally came to a stop, limbs still twitching as the last vestiges of its life escaped its body, the screaming never ceased. I poked and prodded the carcass for the better part of an hour's time. It was still screaming. The screaming continued until I took the first bite out of the rat. The screaming then ceased. It was then that I realized that the rat was never screaming. The screams were my own. I fear I am driven mad. More creatures have joined the beast outside the cave, smaller and more nimble. They were men and women once. I believe I was a man once. I am the screaming rat. Brains spilled out upon the floor of the cave with what remains of my sanity. I hear them, scratching against the makeshift barricade, moans that promise the slow and painful death of being forcefully pulled apart while being completely aware of it. They never stop. They are almost here. My thoughts turn to my daughter, Elia. It is her birthday today. She is 8, perhaps 9. Her mother, I forget her name, Deanna, I think, is a beauty without compare. I have forgotten much. It is dark now, the little torchlight I had completely extinguished. I sit in complete and utter darkness. There is no sound left except for the screaming rat. Whomever shall read this, please bury me at sea or burn my bones so that my soul may know a measure of rest. They are inches from me now. And that's what it says. So I take a second to look at it, and then I turn back towards the cave. Well, seems that there's more to be found in there. And I roll this up, and I'm not actually gonna roll it up. I roll this up and put it back in the container. Maybe we should wake Terra up. Seems that we're missing a member of our party. We now have this to make sense of. I think we need to get going here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're the one that wake her up. Good luck with that.
So I walk over and I just kind of poke her like with my, I try to roll her a little bit with my boot, just like on the shoulder, and just see if I get any response.
Feels good.
So I turn back to Daedalus. Okay. So I take the container and I like poke her on the side of the head with it. Try to like roll her head a little bit.
Scratch the wire, please.
I think we may have a issue here or two.
Like you can handle it. I almost died.
Brog's
I'm gonna
missing.
roll over. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna kind of like poke one eye, like peek one eye open. Does it look like I care? I need my beauty sleep.
Oh, you were the last one to disappear in this wretched place. I thought maybe you might be able to help.
Yeah, you can handle it, Cannon boy. I'm tired.
I might know the location of a treasure.
Treasure, you say? Oh,
Yes.
oh. Daedalus, you hear that? Treasure, oh.
And
Like, yeah, that's what wakes you up, huh? Not our missing comrade, treasure.
Yeah, he's a dwarf, he'll be fine.
I back up a little bit and I show her the container, but you're gonna want to take a look at this first. And I proceed to show her the letter.
Sure. So you read the letter.
In case you...
It's what he read out. It's basically a garish recount of a man's last moments.
And, I thought maybe your investigative skills would come in handy. See, I looked in the cave, but couldn't find the key that he describes.
Are his bones still there?
I saw pieces of bones, yeah.
Gather him up. We need to send him back home, yes?
I agree, but I think maybe I could use your help with the key.
Oh, yes, well. I will definitely try my best.
So I head back in the direction of the cave.
Sure.
And the bones that I saw in there, were they what looked like an intact remains, or were they just like...
They're scattered.
Okay.
At this point.
Were they their whole bones, or...
They're whole bones.
Okay.
They haven't been cracked by large predators or anything. There's only one large predator here, and it doesn't fit. But they've been gnawed on by small, rodents and woodland creatures. You can gather most of what you think is human bone. It's few and far between. It's not a full skeleton.
Okay.
But it's the majority of the major bones.
Okay. So I'll do that, and just pack them away for now, and then wait and see if Terra comes in.
So I'm actually gonna follow Kohl in, but I'm gonna, is the sun starting to peak at this point?
It's night.
It's dead night.
Yeah. So I need you to make an investigation roll.
22.
22. So as you are kind of looking around the cave floor with Kohl, and he's gathering the bits of bone, and Daedalus is helping as well, kind of pointing things out, as they both have night vision and you don't. You do find remnants of a human skull, missing the lower jaw, just the top half of the skull, covered in what can be decades, maybe even hundreds of years worth of dust. Looks exactly like a stone. You do see remnants of what was probably his barricade that had been knocked down. and you do find kind of a hexagonal sort of shape. It is man-made, and it is what is on the map, the drawing on the map. It looks like a hexagon.
Okay.
And it does, well, you don't know Elvish.
So I'm gonna call to Kohl and Daedalus to come where I'm at.
Well, you guys are all in the cave.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn to them, and I think I found the key.
So I look and see what she's got.
She's got a small box. It's probably as big as the face of a regular sized clock.
Okay.
And it's in the shape of a hexagon with some Elvish writing on the top. It is old, but it is definitely indicative of what is on the map.
I wonder how I didn't find that. And he just kind of frowns a little bit. Just like...
It's like, yeah, so you have a dark vision, and she found something you didn't see.
Yeah, I know, Daedalus. I'll work on it.
So as they're bickering, I'm gonna just kind of like crack my neck. I bet you guys missed me a little bit, huh?
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. I'm sure there was missing going on.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't have been able to find it without me.
Oh,
And so I'm gonna just start patting myself on the back.
Of course.
One for Terra.
In typical,
one for Terra.
In typical high heel fashion, sure.
This seems to satisfy what the letter tells us, but what are we gonna do about Brog? There's not many places to go. We're on a mountaintop.
He's fine. I'm just gonna walk away at the mention of Brog.
Okay, so I walk back out and I go over to his armor and I kind of like knock on it a couple times, see if it reacts.
Doesn't react. And you just hear a gong gong gong. Heavy armor.
Well,
even his pack is still there as well.
are we to stay here and wait till he returns, or?
Well, I've got treasure to find. If he comes along, it's not my problem.
Okay, well, I'd like to get out of here at least as much as everybody else, so sounds okay to me.
Daedalus, you coming with, or are you gonna stay and wait?
I guess I'll come with.
If you guys tried at least looking in the cave to see maybe there's a direction he went.
I looked in the cave.
The cave is sealed off.
Mm-hmm.
It only goes about 15, 20 feet in.
Okay.
So it's more of a recession in a rock.
Okay.
More than an actual like cave system.
Cave, yeah.
So other than what you saw,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing else to see.
Okay.
I looked around for tracks, but couldn't find anything.
I'm gonna try and see if I can find some tracks.
Make a nature check.
Natural 20.
All right. Yeah, it's unusual. You definitely see drag marks in the ground. So he was definitely taken. It looks like his whole body was dragged and taken away. You do see two sets of rather large footprints, but you also see something unusual. You see the track of something you've seen before. You've seen snake tracks before, the way they kind of leave those divots in the sand as they move. But these look immense. And it's one of those large snake tracks in the actual, with a natural 20, you definitely know. This was some sort of large reptilian creature that slides on its belly, and it was also accompanied by two large males.
Okay. Well, it looks like somebody might have been knocked out and taken away. Probably our dwarf. And I'm gonna point to the tracks, obviously. And I'm gonna look at Kohl.
And so I look and at what she's pointing out.
It looks like dirt. Pebbles and dirt.
Looks
That's what you say.
It's like the rest of this place. What am I looking at?
I'm just gonna shake my head. I have to do everything around here. Find a dwarf, Terra. Look in the cave, Terra, because I can't see Terra.
Too much dirt and dust around here. I need to be back in Baldur's Gate. Then I can find anybody.
We have another pretty boy. Oh, great.
And I saw he kind of like
So as I'm
runs
like
his horns a little bit, like presses his hair back. Well, I mean, I don't know about that, but I'm a little out of shape right now. My hair, I haven't been able to wash it, but I mean, I guess
Yeah, right now Kohl isn't feeling oh so pretty.
Yeah.
This is not Kohl's jam.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna check on the egg as he is basically trying to set his hair with his horns.
Sure. As Kohl is trying to kind of right himself in this very inhospitable environment, it's certainly growing. There's less and less space in the actual egg, less and less free and open space.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be occupying it quite well.
Okay.
And Rocky just kind of rolls right by you.
So I'm gonna like kind of pat Rocky on the top of I guess you could say his head.
Sure.
And I heard you got a little action there, boy. And so I'm just gonna keep looking at him. And they said they wanted me to leave you down there. Traitors. And so I'm gonna hoist up the egg and get ready and alright,
as you kind of hoist the egg in front of you, it's kind of like framed by the little bit of campfire that's left, the little bit of illumination, and you can kind of clearly see the shape, that almost reptilian-like shape, the long neck and the head that's almost bird-like, and the tail coming around, very large legs, curled up into a ball. It strikes you how much it almost looks like a human baby in this kind of position. But yeah, you're able to kind of see that outline for the very first time, kind of framed against the remnants of the campfire.
And so as I look at it, and you little one, we'll make sure you keep you safe. Oh, and Daedalus, dear. Thank you for keeping this one safe, as I hold the egg up to kind of show him.
Oh, it was no problem.
Alright, well, let's grab this idiot's things and let's go find our dwarf, yes?
Who's gonna haul the armor, though?
Well, he's without armor. I'm not hauling that. He can call it, yes. I'm sure if he just says it, he'll come flying or whatever.
He told me there's only like a certain distance between him and the armor, though.
Oh, well, I'm going. And so I'm going to start walking towards where
There's no
he's
way
dragged.
to, like, pull it apart. It's like that for...
From what he said to us, it's by the enchantment.
Does Kohl remember what Brog said to get the armor to come to him?
Why doesn't Kohl roll a general intelligence check?
Okay. Come on, Kohl. 18.
18. All right. Yeah. You definitely remember it was blah, 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 blah. That's exactly what Dwarvish sounds like to you.
Oh, it's in Dwarvish. Ah.
But you remember the what it.
But I remember the what it actually came out
as.
Yeah. Okay, so I do my best to repeat these words in Dwarvish.
Sure. And you repeat the words just as Barag would say them. Nothing happens. So.
If I attempt to actually move the armor from where it sits, does it move freely?
Who's got Arcana? You.
Me.
You. Make an Arcana check.
Ooh, that's 14.
14. Easy enough. You know, with many high-end magical items, sometimes it takes just time with a magic item for it to tune to your body's energy, sometimes to your life force. And you think that if any one of you spends enough time with it, you will be able to command it in the same way.
So I explained that to the other two. I was like, okay, so if someone here will attune themselves to it, you can command it the same way Barag does. Who wants to do it? Do you want me to do it? Do you want to do it? Do you want to do it?
I think my training has prepared me for this. It's not my usual thing, but I can make it work. And I walk around the armor and I just kind of like do kind of like what I was doing before. I just kind of examine it. I get to know like the where the seams are and just try to familiarize myself with it, and see if doing that for long enough and spending time around it has any discernible effect.
Sure enough, and you spend about 40 minutes playing with this armor, and all of a sudden it kind of starts to change shape to your body shape.
Okay, so after that, I see that happening, I repeat the words again and see if anything happens.
So yeah, forms right on top of you.
Oh. Heavy, but it'll work. And so I like try to like I kind of just feel everything and try to get used to like the feeling of moving in the armor.
It's super heavy.
And try to adjust my holster in such a way that I can reach it easily.
Yeah. You're able to make after some time. You're able to make the proper adjustments. I believe that you are proficient with heavy armor.
Because he's a fighter.
You're
he's a fighter. Yeah.
So yeah, you are proficient in heavy armor. Not really conducive to your weapon of choice. Right. It is heavy, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you can use it. It's a +1 suit of armor.
Okay. So give me 17. Oh, +1 like.
+1 to its regular. So I believe. Yeah. So let me get to the armor section. Hold on 1 second. And I'll get it for you. It is. I believe 18. So 19.
Okay.
Your armor class would be.
Cool. And so does that give me, because I'm proficient with heavy armor, do I still have disadvantage on stealth?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anybody who wears heavy armor would automatically have a disadvantage.
Okay. Cool.
So, again, not really conducive to your weapon of choice.
Yeah.
You like to lay in wait, ambush. You're kind of an ambush predator, you
right.
know?
So I turn to these two and I say, well, this is temporary, but I think it's better than carrying it.
And way better than leaving it here. If we ever do find him and he finds out that we left his armor behind, he would probably kill us.
Something tells me he might not be too happy to see me wearing it either, but I guess if we have to choose one.
Yeah, choose the one that allows us to bring it along.
Okay, so are we going to follow these tracks?
Sure. And while he's getting used to the armor, I grab his bedroll, his swords, and everything else that he owns, and I sling it upon myself.
Okay. So it takes no more than 10 minutes. You grab his swords. It's heavy. It's going to slow you down.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, you have all of his possessions.
Okay, so, I got his stuff. You got his armor. Let's go.
So I turn to Terra. I still don't see the tracks, so if you want to lead the way.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
Cool.
Actually, you guys are going to really have to work in tandem here. Because it's night.
Mm-hmm.
She does not have dark vision. You do.
Okay.
You can't track. She can.
Okay.
So it is going to be a group effort. You would have disadvantage because you don't have night vision.
Mm-hmm.
You would have disadvantage because you can't track.
Mm-hmm.
Together, as a group, you guys would cancel out any disadvantage. But it's with Kohl pointing things out. Oh, look, here, look here, look here. And with you using your ability to track, you are able to kind of navigate to the edge of the summit. So what do you guys do? I need everybody to make a perception roll.
28.
20.
Okay. Way off in the distance.
11.
11? You don't necessarily see it, but Kohl and Terra, you do. Way off in the distance. Just beneath the jungle canopy. Because you guys are way above the jungle canopy. But every once in a while, through the cracks that give you a little picture of the jungle floor, you see way off in the distance, a few miles. You could swear that you see like torch fire going through the jungle.
Does it appear to be moving in any specific direction?
It appears to be going northwest, and you guys are trying to go east.
Okay. And these, as far as we can track it, these tracks and marks that Terra initially saw, they lead to the edge of the...
It leads to the edge of the summit of the mountain. Once you get to the base of the mountain, you guys could probably make a roll and figure out if
what direction.
Yeah. And if it's even the same set of tracks.
Okay.
Right.
So I say to Terra, see that out there? Light fire or something.
Maybe where our dwarf is.
Oh.
We don't know until we go down this mountain, and quite frankly, I want to get the hell away from here.
Yeah, I don't think he's here.
Now, I will say, climbing down the mountain at night is treacherous. You guys were able to cobble together a mountaineer's kit, which you can use to go down. However,
We're one man down.
and that's a big man to be down because he was pretty much the anchor to get you guys up.
Mm-hmm.
So there was going to be 4 checks to get down the mountain.
Okay.
So the first check is going to be from the summit,
So how far is it from where we are to the ground?
12,000 feet. There
Dang
he
it.
goes. That's my boy.
Yeah, that's a lot more than what I can do.
What
Fortunate-
about the fly?
Well, I can only fit one person.
Well, if we were to use the fly, how long would it take for the fly to get down the summit and back up?
You don't know. You've never really ridden it. That's always been Daedalus's thing.
Oh, okay.
And as I peek over the summit and consider the height, I say, I wish I could... I'll have to save that for later. And then I turn to Terra and I say, well, do you want to wait until we have a little more light, or do you say we go now? And then sort of to Daedalus as well, awaiting his answer.
It might be best if we can't see where we're going.
Oh,
We're gonna be as good as the dead up here.
yeah, and when we get down there, if it's still dark, maybe facing some more of those monstrosities.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna camp out here again. And I kind of say it with kind of annoyance, because I just want to get off this thing.
Sure.
Yeah, suppose so.
I suppose we should. And so I'm just gonna sit down begrudgingly.
Sure. Sure.
And I'm just gonna be cursing.
Okay.
in several different languages about Barag.
Okay. Well, Barack. All right. So, as you sit down by the fading campfire, you see that undead T-Rex off in the distance that you guys managed to fell. Again, every once in a while, you'll see a little bit of its flesh move. As the night progresses, you guys end up going to sleep. Every once in a while, you think you hear it move. But you get up and it doesn't move. But Terra, you're pretty sure you saw the tail just kind of like flick up.
I want to get off this mountain. I want to get off this mountain. Did anybody see that? Daedalus, you saw it, right? Its tail moved.
So what? You sure you're not hallucinating?
I am not hallucinating, my good sir. I am not hallucinating. I am
Maybe.
telling you that tail moved. I'm not crazy.
Maybe, I might go quote unquote because it's already dead. Rigor mortis. Already said. Maybe that hasn't set in yet. Like, there's still something. Maybe some kind of magic that's still kind of keeping it going until it eventually.
All I want is to get off this mountain.
And we will.
And if that thing pops up, I'm going down.
Maybe somebody spent a little too much time in the jungle.
What'd you say, Tiefling?
Oh, he said nothing.
Yeah, I'm
Nothing
just
at all.
practicing the words for this armor thing.
Goddamn
Yeah.
hooligans. And so I'm gonna cross my arms over my chest. Hooligans.
Kohl the hooligan. It actually kind of fits.
It's not the first time he's heard that.
Sure. All right. So you guys spend the remainder of the evening
Yeah.
on the top of the mountain. Okay. So the sun begins to crest just beyond the mountain range. Heavy fog layer below you guys. It's somewhat damp at this elevation, and it's very, very cold. You had very, very little to burn, with the exception of your kindling. I can talk. So, did you guys bring the bones?
Yes.
You guys are bringing the bones as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have those.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, morning greets you. You guys are awoken to the bellows of distant giant reptiles and lizards. Screeching, flying reptiles begin to kind of circle the top of the mountain. And as you are now starting to acclimate to the mountaintop, because it's very hard to breathe at in such high elevation. You guys are looking around and you see that T-Rex starting to move slowly, but it is making its way up to its feet.
Oh, hells.
I told you! I wasn't crazy! I told you! Let's get the hell off this damn mountain!
And so
Okay, I'm
I
going.
just
I'm
run
going.
towards the edge and start. I take out the Mountaineer's pack and I get everything ready and start making my way down.
Sure.
In trying to work with them, not by myself. In other words.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're all trying
So-
to get off
So
the...
Kohl quickly runs to the edge of the mountain, and you see him break out the Mountaineer's pack, and he's pulling out these ropes made of vines and heavy stone, and he's looking up at this massive dinosaur that's now being reanimated. Make an Arcana check. Eight. Okay. You think that there's some sort of enchantment that goes off once a day, at least.
Can I cast a spell on it to try and... Can I cast Dispel Magic?
You can try.
So I'm going to try and cast a Dispel Magic on it.
Okay.
So is there any...
I believe I would have to make some sort of save against it. What's your DC?
A DC?
Yeah.
16.
Ooh. Look at you, all grown up. With a spell save of DC. DC 16. I love it. Dispel magic?
Yep.
Okay. Let me look that up real quick. Hold on. Choose one creature, object, or magic effect within range. Any spell of 3rd level or lower on the target ends. Each spell of 4th level or higher on the target make an ability check using your spell casting ability. So I'll do that right now. DC is 10 plus your spell's level. That's the DC. The DC equals 10 plus your spell's level. So what's your what level are you gonna cast this at?
See, I think I cast them all at 5th level, right? Let's see here.
You do.
Yeah, so
As a warlock, yes, you do. So 15.
So 15.
Oof.
That's still pretty hefty.
Oh shit. So as Kohl, you've got the rope and you're bringing it out as quickly as possible. Terra's got some rope and she's trying to help you out as you guys are trying to like double team this. Daedalus lifts his head quickly. He sees the T-Rex starting to move, starting to try to right itself. You see him almost make some sort of calculation in his head, and quickly you see him raise his hand. Some verbal chant comes out of his mouth, and you see a magic arcane energy release over the T-Rex, just bathed in this arcane light, and it just falls back to the ground.
Nice.
All right, and I slow down my movements, and I just look at him and then back at the T-Rex, and I'm just staring at the T-Rex the entire time I'm setting this stuff up when I don't need to actually be, specifically looking at my hands.
So don't worry, you won't be bothering us.
Congratulations, you just bought them a whole day.
Well, that was something. I still want to get out of here, though.
Oh, I still do, but at least we won't have that thing bothering us now.
Yeah,
It's
no,
only
that's...
Rick and Mortis, Terra. Don't worry about it, Terra. It's only Rick and Mortis. It's dead, Terra. And I'm kind of like
Hey,
mocking.
I'm just throwing a hypothesis out there, whether it's true
Well, your
or not.
hypothesis was wrong.
Well, that's why it's a hypothesis and not the truth.
Hooligan.
Scientific hooligan. How
Magical.
dare your hypothesis be wrong? All right, so who's going to take this first section of mountain? DC on this is going to be, because you're going down, you're not climbing up.
Mm-hmm.
Initially on that top part was DC 21.
Mhm.
So now it's just DC 19.
Wow.
And that's...
Is that a...
Is that strength or dexterity? Or?
I believe it was either athletics or acrobatics. We decided.
So I'm going to still leave the harder ones to them.
Does it get easier on the way down?
Yes.
Or is it... Okay. So I will take the first one then, actually.
Okay. So Terra starts to put in anchors at the top of the mountain as she kind of takes lead to get you guys down.
Did we tie Rocky again at the end?
You can if you'd like.
Absolutely. I'm not leaving my Rocky up there.
Okay. So you tie Rocky. Where's your egg?
On my back with my pack, I guess.
You've made a custom pack.
Yeah, with
the
his blanket
Yeah.
and everything.
Mm-hmm.
His or her, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and make either an acrobatic check.
Acrobatics.
All right. DC is 19.
19.
You rolled a natural 19? Shit. All right.
And then, oh my god.
So sure enough.
It would be 28 total.
Oh my goodness. All right. So Terra gets you to the next continent.
Cool, we're home.
All right. So
Cold wishes.
yeah. So you guys make it down to just where the fog begins to get really thick. You're now coming toward the top, the very top of the canopy of the jungle. As you look straight around you, you could see just little peaks of the branches of the very tallest trees of the jungle, pretty much equal to exactly where you are now.
Would I be able to do the second one? Because we have 4 checks. So would I be able to do the first and second?
No.
Darn it. As the DM smiles.
I will do the next one.
All right.
It's gonna be acrobatics also. I'm gonna use an inspiration.
All right.
To do a little bit of math. I was like, that doesn't sound good.
Okay.
Okay. Look at these guys. Cock die. 21.
All right. Kohl. The rocks now start to become somewhat slick as you are coming down to the top of the jungle canopy. That's where a lot of the moisture, the fog that has not burnt off from the morning sun is still kind of collected at that level of the mountain. However, you are able to spot this relatively easy and kind of direct the whole group on where they need to go. Terra's still up at the top, Daedalus is the middle, you're at the bottom, and you're kind of directing traffic. So the third leg is going to be a DC of 17, and that will be Daedalus, young Daedalus Hartwell.
So how far are we from the bottom?
You're only 6,000 feet.
How far are we gonna fall?
Well, yeah, you're only 6,000 feet. What could possibly go wrong?
As he says with a smile once more.
Well, since I am the head of the group, I will activate my spider boots once again.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll tell you what. Because you have the foresight to use your boots of spider climbing, I'll give you advantage on this roll. Because that's a smart move.
Okay. That's 12. By the way, I'm using acrobatics for this because that's pretty much only.
So you said, is that a natural 12 or is that with the modifiers added?
That's a natural 12 plus the 4, so that's 16.
Are you proficient in acrobatics?
Yes.
What's your dexterity?
Well, that's
'Cause remember, it's your roll plus your dexterity modifier plus your proficiency bonus.
It should be +5, I think, because you got 1 on the dex and 4 proficiency.
So it'd be 17 total instead of 16.
Okay, so that's 17, and here's the other one. Oh, that's an 11
Okay.
plus the 4 and the 1, so that's a 16. So the 17 wins out.
Okay. So unfortunately, the DC was 18.
I thought it was 16. Was it 16?
No. The first one was 19. You made that.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is 1 less.
Oh,
And then 1 less.
okay.
And then 1 less.
Shouldn't it be 17?
Yeah, it'd be 17.
No, the first one was 19.
Yeah,
Oh yes, that's
19,
right. Because you
18.
got
Yeah,
second
that's
one.
right,
Yes,
right.
you're right.
So I made it.
You made it. Yes.
So we're walking down this
My
part
bad.
safely.
Yes. Numbers.
Daedalus is like, I am making sure
I know.
we walk down
I know.
safely.
He got all Johnny Cochran on my ass for a second. He's like, your decision,
And
DM.
once again, it worked.
Yes.
So I'm just.
I've been out-lawyered. I
So
love
while
it.
they're climbing down the mountain, I'm walking down it.
Sure. And then you said, in a burst of inspiration, Daedalus looks up at the sky and says, "Damn you, fates! I beat you!" Alright, so you make it down. Well done. And so the last leg, I will say, it is the easiest leg. With all 3 of you, I will say you don't even have to roll. You guys get to the bottom. And what do you do?
Is there dinosaur, in lack of a better terms, feces around?
Strangely enough, not around this mountain. This mountain is active with volcanic activity, which seems to keep 2 things away: the dead at night and the dinosaurs during the day.
Okay.
So there's not much of it. Make a nature check. What'd you roll?
24.
All right. So as you're kind of looking around, you're looking for camouflage from the thunder lizards, you're noticing that in the direction that you guys saw the torches, you see very little evidence of dinosaur incursion. You don't see anything. It looks like a completely empty jungle, minus the regular jungle animals that you might see. Stranger still, you see no evidence of upturned ground from the dead milling about in the evening. Nothing. It seems like the normal rules of Chult just don't apply to wherever they're headed. And it starts at this mountain.
Is that the direction the tracks are going to?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn to the group. Alright, well, it looks like wherever they were heading, dinosaurs aren't following, zombies aren't following.
That sounds good.
That was fast.
Yeah. That sounds very good.
That sounds suspicious. I think
it's like, it might be good, quote unquote, but
what's gonna happen once we reach the end?
yeah, it's like, what are we going to be facing? If they can keep zombies away, and if they can keep the dinosaurs away, what can they do to us?
Well, all I know is one of them is a snake-like creature. Big. Very, very big.
And that's the first that you two are hearing of this.
The
Snake.
Very big snake. And then there's two others. Also
Well,
very large in stature.
seems to me that
Are we talking ogre size?
What are we talking?
You had a very high roll on your nature check. No, not ogre size, but certainly large.
Giant, maybe?
No.
No.
Probably about the size. From the weight that's being distributed in the track,
Onto the track.
probably about the size of a horse.
It's about as big as a horse.
So, see, horse. Are we speaking of like centaurs, maybe?
I have no idea, but I'm guessing they want the dwarf. Why? I don't know.
Let me get this straight. We follow the tracks and we potentially face down a large reptile. Or we turn around, go back, and face down large reptiles. I say we try to get Brog back so he can help us get off of this island. Because I think we're out of good options.
I'm just tagging along. I can do with or without. And I kind of say that very coldly.
Oh, well. Good to know, I suppose. But I say that's what we do, is follow these tracks. At least in the meantime, we're not being bothered by the undead.
Or the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or the
Well,
dinosaurs.
typically the undead only come out at night, so
Yeah.
you're safe from them for now. It's really only dinosaurs that you have to worry about.
So we're gonna go get the other buffoon.
I suppose so.
The other buffoon.
We're hooligans.
I see what you did there.
Well, I suppose so.
Alright, hooligans. Onward. And so I'm gonna start following the tracks.
Okay.
And is Rocky still following me?
Yeah, it's rolling right after you.
And so I'm gonna pet the top of his head. You're not a hooligan. Just those two.
I was like, of course, the rock isn't one.
Now, is this also the same direction that we saw the flames moving in?
It is.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, it's going in a northeast. No, I'm sorry, a northwest direction. You guys are trying to get east, so it's kind of going the opposite direction of where you want to go.
Okay, so eventually we're trying to get east, but you're
Yes.
heading northwest. Okay.
Right now you're headed northwest, following those tracks.
Okay. So, let's do that.
So we're gonna follow the tracks.
Okay. All right. I need everybody. Are you just gonna just follow the tracks? Or?
Also, I'm gonna see if there's any way to kind of camouflage, just in case there are any thunder lizards or anything up on the trail.
Okay. So, what sort of specifically? Because I need to know.
Probably the dinosaur dung, since that seems to work.
As you are headed deeper into the jungle, deeper into the canopy, there is no dinosaur dung. There are no dinosaur tracks.
Jesus.
There is no evidence that dinosaurs exist on this island. So you can surmise a couple of things. You can surmise that if dinosaurs are staying away from this island, and they have free reign on just about every other place on this island, there's something that's keeping them away. So there is something that's either placing them lower on the bottom of the food chain, or something else is at work.
Oh, well, this just looks peachy. No dinosaurs. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I feel okay about it for now. Till
Of course
we find
you do.
some.
Of course you do.
Yeah, but if they're not around and whoever took Barag must be larger and more fearsome than these dinosaurs.
You are, as you guys are going through the jungle, even though there's you notice that there are more worked trails in this part of Chult than on almost any other part of Chult. Without having to look out for dinosaurs, you guys are making some pretty good time. I need everybody to make a perception roll.
13.
19.
Seven.
7? Okay. Daedalus, you don't see it because you're too busy trying to grow eyes in the back of your head because you're just a little too paranoid that things are going a little better than they should in the jungles of Chult. But Terra and Kohl, because you're kind of looking for tracks together, helping each other out, you come upon what seems to be an ancient ruin, an old temple. I will say that from this distance you can see there is some sort of carving on the edifice of the temple, but it's far too far away for you to get a look at it. And as you guys are slowly approaching, you do start to hear a chanting of sorts. You see torches around the ruin. It looks like there may be some sort of religious ceremony.
Are the tracks leading towards that direction?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. So you boys want the good news or the bad news?
Bad news first.
Sure.
Bad news is we might be running into another religious cult, which Daedalus, you know as well as I do, does not really pan well for us.
And I just frown. I'm just like,
Good news is, I think said cult might lead us to said dumb dwarf. Yes.
Well, you guys have experience wiping out religious cults, so...
Yeah, we got lucky. Very, very lucky. By the skin of our teeth, Kohl. Whatever you heard before, it is definitely not easy. It's worse than what you've heard.
Well, I suppose we've made it this far. And... Did I hear any of the chanting?
You did.
Does it...
As well. It's creepy. It's in a language that you're not very... Well, hold on. You may be familiar with it. Hold on 1 second.
DM,
Yes.
is it what I think it might be?
I don't know. What do you... I can't read your mind.
From, when I first landed on the island of Chult.
What did you say?
The reptiles.
Could be.
Oh no, if it is.
Do you know Abyssal?
No. Actually, I don't.
Does anybody know Abyssal? Or Draconic?
Draconic, I do.
You know Draconic? Actually, they're only chanting in Abyssal. I'm sorry. Okay, so nobody knows Abyssal?
Just Infernal.
I guess no.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's in a language that you're not very familiar with.
Am I familiar with it just because of the reptilian people I ran to before? Do I recognize the chanting?
No.
No? Dang it.
Well, maybe we should sneak up on him a little bit, see what's going on in there.
You're gonna have a hard time with that.
Why don't
I do a small poke of his armor?
And as he pokes my armor, is like I wait for his finger to hit. As soon as I see his finger touch my armor, I cast invisibility.
Nice.
And then I walk behind him while I'm invisible. I say, "Not too hard." And
Does invisible make you sound proof?
I would say it definitely cancels out the disadvantage. I would say.
So
I mean, he'll still clank around.
That's what I'm talking about.
So it kind of levels the playing field.
Well, they are chanting too, and if they are doing a ritual, they might be thinking
Right.
"Oh, this
So
whatever."
who's wearing heavy armor? in
So I
here?
just lean over to him. I was like, "See if you can kind of clank in rhythm."
So I kind of I walked in step to
Just
the
kind of Andy Dufresne this shit. Wait
Yeah.
for the lightning.
yeah. So I say to them, "Do you guys want to try to approach this together, or?"
I'm gonna actually roll for.
Make everybody at the table make a perception roll, real quick, and then you'll get to roll for whatever you want.
Dang it.
12.
19.
19. You hear murmuring, but you hear it much closer. The murmuring that you hear is coming from the direction of Daedalus, specifically his backpack.
Oh no. Daedalus.
She's the only one that hears it.
Yeah,
Okay.
currently.
Daedalus, I now before we continue on, where is the head?
It's in the back.
Oh no! Don't take that thing out.
Make sure it stays in there. Maybe, just maybe, we can cause a distraction with it. Seems like it's talking, and I'm gonna start poking the backpack.
I personally am willing to sacrifice that thing.
You hear as you poke it.
And it is pretty loud. I mean, I could probably sneak in, maybe throw the thing.
And if it so happens to be destroyed in the process, we can tell Barag it was for,
It was
his
for
life.
a good cause.
Yeah.
Absolutely. See that. You know what? You are not so much of a buffoon as I thought. You
Thank
have
you.
been upgraded
It's the
today.
nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Okay,
Aw.
So I open the pack just a little bit. Okay. You quickly grab it, but as you do so, cover its mouth until we're ready to throw him.
Will do.
So I open the pack just a little bit, and I point in.
It has the tie still around its mouth.
Not anymore. So
That's why I said real quick.
as soon as you opened it, he says, "They took him. They took Barag."
Yes, we know. No.
No, I hear you plotting against me.
So
You're trying to bump me off.
So
Hey, you
The
want
leader of the group.
to help
So,
us save
as
him?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're gonna have to be quiet first, otherwise
Okay.
they'll catch us.
Hold on. I need guarantees from you, Daedalus. Hartwell.
Look, nothing bad is going to happen.
To me or Barag.
Hopefully, nothing bad will happen to both of you.
I refuse to be a sacrifice. I've done it once, and it's overrated.
and so as he says that, I'm gonna pull some clothing and just kind of wrap it around his mouth.
Make a
as he
sleight of hand check.
starts- Halfling luck.
You rolled a 1?
Mm-hmm. 25.
Hold on, let's see if halfling luck actually applies to. what it applies to.
I thought it applied to anyone.
I don't think it applies to any single one. It's on specific ones. On an attack roll, ability check, or saving. So yeah. So you go ahead and you fasten a little bit of cloth on his mouth. His head is so small, his mouth is so small. You know that unless you really cinch it on there tight, it's probably gonna just slip off. He has no neck or body to keep it suspended on there, so.
Right. Alright, so I guess we got our little makeshift distracting mechanism here.
So you hear
What do you think?
I think it'll probably get somebody's attention.
I agree. Maybe we can find the oaf and get rid of this thing.
Right. So, who's going to deploy the distraction?
I point at her.
Oh, now I have to do the dirty work. I already.
Well, you're the
Terra.
stealthy one. If I went through there, I'd probably step on a twig.
You are not lying. So I'm gonna go like stealth. I'm gonna use my stealth.
Okay, you got
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of go to like the edge of the temple where the entrance is.
There's an entrance to the temple, and beyond the entrance, it's almost like a long hallway. And on the other side, you see a gathering.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a large gathering. It's about 4 humanoids gathered there. So go ahead and make your stealth check.
Natural 19. Plus 9.
As you disappear into another dimension. So you walk up to the temple, relatively secure that you're not being watched. The hall, it's more of a hallway that goes right through the middle of the temple to the other side of the temple. There are almost no rooms in this temple. It seems like everything is designed to be done on the exterior of the temple, on the outside, in the natural world. Mm-hmm. You see what looks to be a very large snake tail. You see almost like an altar. The altar itself is stained with blood. It looks like it has been used for hundreds of years. So much so that even the stone floor, about 5 foot all around the altar, is just dark, like a dark maroon, almost black, from years of just blood having built up and caked on it. And as you are watching this snake's body kind of move and position itself as it's circling the altar, you see it circle around so where you can actually get a good look. And you see from the torso up a woman with 2 swords, long black hair, very pale skin. The bottom from about her navel down is just reptile, snake. As she's just circling the altar, you see 2 very large males, it looks like, probably about between 6 and 7 foot, muscle bound. Their skin covered in scales. They look more snake than humanoid, but they do have arms and legs, the regular appendages of a humanoid, but very, very snake-like features. You see long protruding fangs, almost like the hood of a cobra, coming from the top of the head down to the tops of their shoulders. And they're carrying 2 spears. And there is a 4th, but you don't see it. You can hear it, but you don't see it.
So, do I see anything on the altar, or is it just there's nothing?
Super rock.
Oh, great. So,
he seems to have been kind of trussed up for some sort of ceremony. He is wearing almost like a white loincloth, a very simple garb, and he's laying on the slab completely unresponsive.
So I'm gonna hold the shrunken head and kind of grip it tight, and I'm actually contemplating. And I look towards the group because they're behind, right?
They're behind you, yeah.
So
essentially, you're in the middle between Kohl and Daedalus and this ritual happening on the other side of the temple. The temple itself is not a huge temple.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a giant altar than an actual temple.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're essentially in the middle.
So I'm actually gonna kind of like do an overthrow, and throw the head over.
Okay. Throw it over where?
Over into the temple.
Okay.
Where they're at.
Okay, so you're gonna back up out of the hallway?
Yeah.
Okay, so you back up out of the hallway and you just chuck it?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and make a dexterity check. Okay, you're cashing in an inspiration.
Yep. I totally missed. Oh, that was an epic fail on my part. That was funny. 22.
22. Let's cock die. Okay. So you chuck it.
I'm gonna try and throw it towards like the far corner of the room to get.
Well, they're not in the room.
Mm-hmm.
They're outside of the temple on the other side of the temple.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're actually going to throw it over the temple to where they are?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. So you do it. Lands somewhere.
Do they kind of look towards that direction now? No? They're still focused on Barag?
Yeah, it seems it. And you never took the gag off.
That's right. So,
She threw a gagged, shrunken head.
I derped.
I was waiting for the magic words and they never came, and I'm like, oh, okay, awesome.
So, I'm gonna go back, like, kind of like defeated.
Sure.
And I'm just gonna say, I'm a buffoon.
Join the club. And
So I'm gonna just hold my arm up for like a high five.
Alright.
okay, I narrow my eyes at her, and I'm still invisible, and then just like give her a light tap on the hand.
Sure. So you feel this invisible hand press against yours.
And
Camaraderie of buffoonery.
and we're like set back from the entrance still,
Yes,
right?
you are.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to stealth and approach where she had gone before.
Okay.
I just say we go in, pull a Barag tactic.
I just charge in, and
You and I, Daedalus, cause a distraction. Kohl, we get the big ol' fout.
You saw him in there, then.
Yes, I don't know if he's dead or not necessarily. I mean, he's not moving.
Was he restrained in any way?
No. He's just lying on a slab of bloody, gory mess.
Well, if you two...
And there's a snake lady in there.
Oh.
A big
Great.
snake lady. Oh, and then there's 4 other snake-like people.
Ooh.
Men.
Well,
Three
we'll
other.
need...
3 other.
3 other, and the only other thing that you notice is that you think you hear running water off in the distance, which makes sense because it's something of a building.
We will need quite the distraction then. If you and Daedalus think you can occupy 4 of them long enough for me to get to Brog, I can try to drag them out of there, but at that point, I'm not going to be very well hidden. They're going to see Brog being dragged away by some invisible force. So we'll need them to be distracted.
Maybe we'll Hartwell the Magnificent, and I'm going to kind of smile, can cause a great distraction, don't you think?
Put on a show for them.
Exactly. See? We are great buffoons together. What do you think, Daedalus? You know what? You're going to do it.
I have yet to witness it, but I've heard great things.
Oh, it is great. It's quite grand.
Okay.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
So you're gonna charm the snake. Ha. As I say to myself and pat myself on the back again.
Ha ha ha.
And if you manage to keep them distracted, and I manage to get Brog out the front door here, just wait for the sound of my gunshot, and you'll know that's when you should take off running for dear life.
Okay, so I'm like,
Poor Daedalus.
I start just like trying to, pretty much steal myself up.
Sure.
Because I'm about to try and distract a bunch of snake people.
Right. I need everybody to make a history check.
14.
18.
18. Okay. 4. You have not had a decent roll all night, I don't think, with maybe the exception of the mountain climbing.
Yeah, I was going to say the mountain climbing he did pretty well,
Oh,
but...
man. I'll tell you, it's not your night. Daedalus Hartwell.
It switches. I noticed that. It switches every
night. You're either
night.
on fire or ugh. And tonight you're ugh. Alright, so Kohl and Terra, you know this. Terra, you know this from having spent a little time in the jungle and having been warned by some of the Chultan locals of this particular section of the jungle. And Kohl, you heard it during your brief time in the most civil part of this island before you destroyed that tavern. You did hear of the night serpent god Dendar. Okay. Dendar is worshipped by a race that strikes fear into the hearts of Chultans. They're called the Yuan-Ti. The Yuan-Ti are mysterious and dangerous, and almost nobody ever survives an encounter with the Yuan-Ti. Their one purpose is to summon the night serpent to wrap its coils around the planet and squeeze. And this night serpent, it feeds on nightmares.
Okay. So I know at this point these are Yuan-Ti?
Yeah.
Okay.
As you kind of heard her description, it kind of clicks in your head like, you know what? I think Belchris kind of mentioned these.
Dendar, right?
Dendar.
Dendar.
The night serpent.
Night as in like nighttime?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, sounds like we're dealing with some Yuan-Ti.
I agree. Maybe if we show favoritism towards their deity.
Maybe if
Daedalus puts on a show for
a tribute of some kind.
These creatures are very much, as mysterious as they are known for death, destruction. Maybe we have our elf friend here carry in a sacrifice for Dendar? Maybe put on a show?
What sort of sacrifice?
Well, I'm light enough. Unless you would like to be the sacrifice, and then I just stab the lady in the head.
Well, I'm already invisible, so I think we can give that a shot. And if worst comes to worst, you can stab her in the head anyway.
Everybody make a perception roll.
22.
Oh, finally. 17.
18.
18. Okay, so the three of you, as you're speaking, and as Kohl is casually saying, as if he's saying, go out and buy a loaf of bread, he says, and then maybe you can stab the lady in the head. Yeah. Very casually, a little too casually.
And then get your loaf of bread.
Yeah. So as you are casually mentioning stabbing the lady in the head, you do see the two larger, more humanoid Yuan-Ti now scurry toward the top of the temple, torches in hand, as they seem to be kind of pointing. These two are speaking Draconic.
What are they? Do I need to roll?
No, you don't.
Okay, what are they saying?
It's a very ancient form of Draconic. It's hard to understand because they tend to hiss when they speak. But they are saying something to the effect of, "The head came from this direction.
So I'm actually...
Dendar blesses us this night."
So I'm actually going to come out of the forest where we're at and speak in Draconic back. Praises be to Dendar.
So they both stop and look at you. The way a snake kind of stares, it's almost like they're looking through you.
And I'm kind of holding my hand back as like in a stop motion to Daedalus and to Kohl as to like stay perfectly, like to stop and where they're at and stay still.
Okay. So they say, "You know of Dendar, the night serpent?"
And I'll speak back. Yes, and he is very gracious to us. Yes.
You are not of cold flesh. You are a soft one.
I am married to that of a cold flesh.
Sacrilege, sacrilege.
As sacrilege as it sounds, I worship the majestic Dendar as faithfully as you.
Serena shall uncover the truth of it. Approach the altar.
And so I start walking towards that direction, and I make like a symbol with my fingers for them to follow.
Okay, make a perception roll.
Everybody?
Just Daedalus and Kohl. Because she's trying to be subtle.
15.
Okay.
12.
12? Okay, Daedalus, you don't notice, but Kohl, you barely notice that she's trying to signal you, but you're not very sure what she's trying to say.
Okay. I'd like to try to... I mean, I'm invisible, but I'd like to try to, like, stealth. Is that something I can do, or is it just considered, like, stealth?
No, you're considered in stealth.
Considered stealth, okay.
But as Terra, you are approaching the temple closer, you now hear, "Yes, they tried to kill me. I knew you guys had my back if I had one. I'm glad to be reunited with my Brog. He would be dead without me."
So I follow Terra's path while keeping like a bit of a distance, 10 feet.
Sure. Natural 6. Okay. Alright, so you don't think that you're being detected until one of them kind of stops in his tracks, and then his head kind of cranes to the left and then cranes to the right, and you see this long snake tongue come like darting in and out of his mouth very quickly, almost like he's tasting the air. And then he just kind of continues to escort Terra through that long hallway, through the temple to the altar on the other side. So what do you guys do?
So I'm following them into the...
So they lead you through the hallway. You do see Barag. He's got 2 punctures in his neck, deep punctures. Some sort of green liquid is kind of oozing. Just on the edge of the altar, there's a drop, and it leads to almost like a rapid or a river. So, and you do see the half female, half serpent, Serena, the priestess of this particular cult, greets you. Stranger to our lands, she says in Draconic.
And I say, I do, indeed, and then I bow towards her.
So she kind of is surprised at first, and then she kind of gives you almost like a half curtsy. More just like shrugging her shoulders, but in more of a greeting sort of way. Mm-hmm. She's got two jewel encrusted daggers. They almost look like sacrificial daggers. You could see carved in the pommel is the head of a snake. Green liquid covers the blades. And you see she's got a couple of long fangs, just like her two bodyguards. And she says, "What brings you to the land of the Yuan Ti? You are not wanted here, soft thing."
I have come to collect what is mine and my tribe.
This is my sacrifice to the night serpent.
I am aware.
Offer other sacrifice or leave. We give you this one chance. No other shall be given. You are a soft thing.
If I were to bring another sacrifice...
Yes, sacrifice.
And what would be preferable to the great Dendar?
And so you hear, "Certainly not me." And he's actually now tied with a piece of twine to the neck of Barag. "Not me. I'm less than a complete sacrifice."
And,
Terra.
So, I speak in Draconic, what is that thing?
It is gifts from Dendar. It looks like the sacrifice. They belong together.
Ah, I see. Well, quite interesting what Dendar has provided for you.
Yes, Dendar knows all. Speaks through nightmares. Will come.
I will bring you an even better offering than this.
Sacrifice.
Than this fleshy, fattening thing.
Disgusting.
Yes, quite.
What sacrifice shall you bring?
Something great and grand just for Dendar.
Yes.
And to all of his glory.
Yes.
And so I bow again.
So she bows, and now they seem almost visibly excited. The eyes are darting. They can't seem to sit still. The two bodyguards are moving from left to right and right to left, and it's almost like an animal in a zoo that's caged, and you just see it moving back and forth. That's exactly what they're doing. All three of them are excited. The fourth is missing somewhere, though. You know you saw four.
Mm-hmm. So, I stand up again after bowing. I turn towards Serena.
Mm-hmm.
And
as you look at her, you see that she puts her hand these long green claws, some sort of venom or poison kind of like covering them. You see them put them on a lever next to the altar. And she kind of looks over the edge down to the waters below. And she says, "Hurry back, sacrifice.
Yes, I will be back as soon as I can. Just do not harm the fleshy thing. My husband and I worked very hard to tame such a hideous creature. So
you see her smile. You see the fangs coming out of her mouth as she smiles.
So I turn around and walk back towards where Daedalus is.
Okay.
So I'll follow her.
Okay. So as you're walking back, you pretty much almost bump into Daedalus. You're still invisible. Oh.
Well, tell us his back.
Kohl. You almost bump into Kohl. As he was kind of like in between. He was actually just like 10 feet behind you.
Well, you want good news or bad news?
Well, I pretty much saw what happened there.
Did you even understand?
No, not a word.
All right then.
The only thing that you could get is whatever information that was gleaned from the talking head.
Just to say not much.
Yeah. To pretty much say, don't sacrifice me.
Yeah.
So, you wanted to know what happened to me? We need to go find my husband. And as I say that, I start walking towards like the coast.
A husband on Chult. Is this why we're here? Is this why we ended up here? You're married to a man on Chult?
It's not really a man per se.
Is it a dinosaur?
Pretty close. And I kind of point to him, and I'm like, it was not intentional. It just happened. I was trying to survive, and apparently I am married.
To a man dinosaur?
A man dinosaur, yes.
Well, you know that where you want to go, that's a long way off. We're talking days.
What is this thing that you are married to, precisely?
Well, he is of a reptilian creature similar to...
Make a nature check.
You have an inspiration, sir.
How many more do you have?
That was my last
That's
one.
your last one?
Yeah.
You know that he is more amphibian.
Right, than reptilian.
That was the check.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, listen. I basically told them that Barag, who they refer to as ugly, which I definitely do agree.
Nod silent.
Everybody in the group nods. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I basically said he is mine and my husband's property as our manservant. And that they have wrongfully taken my manservant, and we need to find a new sacrifice. Or else, said ugly flesh thing goes down a river of rapids.
What do they want as a sacrifice?
Something big, something grand, something worthy for their god, I guess, to consume.
Does it need to be a living thing?
Looks like it. Barag looks like he's still alive somehow.
So you mean to sacrifice your husband?
He's a few days away.
He's about a week and a half away.
Yeah.
That sounds unrealistic.
So, I say we go hunting. We find a big enough beast to bring down with us. They'll be happy. We get our dwarf back, and then we can get back on to treasure hunting, because that's what I wanted to do in the first place. It was either that or we just try to kill them all, which I highly doubt we could do, just the three of us.
Yeah, and
Is anybody proficient with religion?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Well, seems to me like they aren't the patient type. I just wonder that if it takes too long, we may be sacrificing Barag in the process.
So long as I get my treasure in the end.
Well, why don't we just leave then?
Well,
I think you have more of an attachment to this dwarf than you're letting on.
And so I'm gonna give him like a look. I have no attachment to any dwarf. They're all scum. And they will backstab you any chance they get. The only reason why I am willing to even fathom thinking about rescuing this one, and I'm going to point to Daedalus, is for his sake, not mine. Get that through your thick tiefling skull.
Well, you did say we could kill them, but did you say there were 4 of them in there?
Yes. One of them, though, I have no idea where. He wasn't in the temple. Just the serpent lady, Serena is her name, I guess, from what they told me. And then the 3 of them. But I think we are wasting enough time talking.
Well, if you think they would prefer whatever lies out there to Brog, then so we can try to negotiate.
Look, this is the best I can do. So it's either we do this, or we try and kill them all, and we all die in the process.
No, were you guys having this conversation? I like just on the outskirts where you left Daedalus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Daedalus, you got anything to say? Or would you rather us just leave Barog and we go on our merry way?
We are not going to leave Barog behind.
See, for him.
So let's get this hunting done.
So that's what we're gonna do.
All right. So, what are you looking for specific? Is there anything specific that you're looking for, or
something that weighs as much as he does?
Probably like maybe a thunder lizard.
They are on the other side of the mountain.
Of course they are.
Remember this where you are.
Oh yeah, we are. There's no dinosaurs, right? So any creature that would be large enough for us to kind of drag or carry, and something maybe. And what kind of is it? Like typical jungle creatures, like panthers or leopards?
There are many of those sorts of creatures on the jungle island of Chult.
Maybe a saber-toothed tiger?
There are. You can look.
I would say yeah. I'm gonna try and look for maybe like.
I mean, I can't give you. I can't give you a list. I can tell you that you can make a nature roll, see if you can find.
I'm gonna try
sort of tracks.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and see if I can find tracks of like a large animal nearby, or medium large animal.
Sure.
22.
22. Yeah, you do find tracks from the look of it. It's mammalian in nature. You could see like the fur imprints around where the toes would be. But yeah, you do see one.
Okay. So I'm gonna look back to the rest of the group, and I think we just found what we're looking for.
Lead the way.
So I'm gonna follow the tracks.
Okay.
And kind of move like carefully, as stealthily as I can.
Okay, I need everybody to make a perception roll.
27.
19.
Damn. Damn.
Like an 8.
All right. So, par usual tonight, Daedalus doesn't notice anything. But off in the distance, you see...
I thought elves had good eyes.
Not if they roll bad. So, off in the distance, almost kind of sunning itself on the large, thick limb of an ancient old tree. You do see the telltale spots of what would be a large cat, like a cheetah, wrapped around this its beautiful, beautiful white and orange and black spotted coat. You see kind of snakes around its neck, about half a dozen or so. Every once in a while, its back is towards you, and every once in a while the tail would just kind of flick up.
So, the snakes are basically killing it right now, right?
You don't know.
Could I roll to see if I know?
You can get closer?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get closer.
Okay. So make a perception roll.
17.
The snakes are a very decent sized snake. Like a python size snake. And as you're kind of following the head and you're following the body to see where these snakes coil around the cat's neck, you lose the snake body right around the shoulder blade. And then you're like, shit, where? All right. So you pick another snake head, and you're just following that snake's body, and then you lose it again right around the shoulder blade. And you're like, shit. So again, you pick another snake head, and you follow it, and it stops right at the shoulder blade until you kind of make the connection that these snakes are actually part of the anatomy of this cat. They're not actually strangling it or eating it, but they are attached to the cat at the shoulder blade.
Well, this looks like it's gonna be a doozy. So I'm gonna kind of like recede back to where the group is. Well, we found our creature. Looks like there's snakes and leopards involved.
Snakes. Wouldn't that be kind of like bringing them back one of their own?
I don't think they really care. I think what they care about is a sacrifice at this point. But whatever this thing is, it's attached to this leopard-like creature.
Okay. Maybe they'll see it as a abomination of sorts.
Exactly. Maybe even a connection to Dendar itself.
Okay. Did I see the creatures as well?
You saw the creature, but she actually went a little
close.
closer to get a better look,
Okay.
and kind of try to suss out the anatomy of the creature when she discovered that there were not multiple creatures, but this was one creature.
Okay. Well, let's take care of it then.
Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and see where exactly I can hit this thing, and so I'm gonna use my stealth.
Okay. What did you roll in your stealth check?
No, Lord.
That's alright, go ahead and roll.
Okay. Roll again? Well, because I went out of stealth to talk to him.
Yes. Go ahead.
Halfling luck.
Okay. What'd you roll?
Oh my god!
Another one?
Yeah.
Alright.
This is so bad.
Okay.
Dice jail. Oh my lord.
So as you're sneaking up on this large predatory cat with these thick snakes just jutting out of its shoulder blades, 3 on one side, 3 on the other, you've got your frost brand dagger, and you bring it out from the shoulder harness, and you start to smile a little bit as you sneak up on this thing, and you snap a twig. It turns around quickly. I need you to make a DC Constitution of 12, please.
Please. Nat 20.
Natural 20. So you see mist just come out of the cat's mouth. You get enveloped in it. Your vision starts to go blurry. For a second, your knees buckle, but you manage to fight off the effects of whatever this thing spat at you. I need everybody to roll initiative. I rolled a natural 1.
23.
21.
All right. So we've got Terra.
16.
All right. Got Kohl the gunslinger. And we've got young Daedalus Hartwell.
You know, I thought as an elf I'm like older than most.
I just like calling you young Daedalus Hartwell.
Maybe
I don't know why.
It's a stage name.
Maybe I'm young for an elf.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. To me, it just seems natural. Young Daedalus Hartwell. You know what it is? I'll tell you exactly what it is. And maybe it's just me reading into the character that you're portraying. But I see Daedalus as very kind of like naive to the world. Like a lot of things are new to Daedalus. So to me, that kind of implies that he's young. He's a young elf. He doesn't have the wisdom of somebody who's very well traveled. So that's why I always call him young Daedalus Hartwell. I don't know. All right, so Terra, you got hit in the face with this cone of this white mist, this noxious mist that smells completely terrible. You know that you had the strength of will to fight off whatever effects this thing had, but it is your turn.
So, how far away is it from me?
About 10 feet.
Okay. So I'm actually going to move into a melee range.
Sure.
And start attacking it with my Frostbrand dagger.
Go for it. Now you don't have sneak attack. Or,
yes.
Okay. Good.
18.
That's a hit.
Yay.
Okay, so go ahead and roll damage. Remember, you only have one dagger.
Yes.
Okay.
6, 10, 12, 17. I just so happened to roll the highest on 2 of my dice.
Nice, nice. Okay, is that gonna end your turn?
That'll end my turn.
Okay, so quickly you take your Frostbrand dagger. You know the jig is up. You've been caught. So you take your dagger and you quickly, almost like a prison shank style, you hit it once really quick, and you hurt it pretty bad. You see it kind of favoring its leg. The snakes jutting out of either shoulder blade kind of recoil, feeling the pain of the stab. So that is going to end your turn?
Yes.
All right, Kohl.
Okay. How far am I from the creature?
I would say you're about 20 feet.
20 feet. Okay. I'm actually going to take full movement back to 50. I guess that would be.
Oh yes. I thought you were trying to look behind the DM screen. I'm like, what is this guy doing right now?
Looking for the book.
I think you were looking for a leg up. That's what I think you were looking for.
Find out.
It's right over there in that bookshelf, sir.
Your stealth check
so
was
what do you do?
So I'm going to take full movement away from the creature.
Okay.
And so that'll put me 50 feet away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to raise my still working pistol, the one that still works.
Right.
And I'm going to take a violent shot at it.
Okay.
With 1 grit point.
Okay.
So that will be I might need to reference. I should know this, but I don't.
Oh, I have it. So you're taking 1 violent shot?
Yeah, so it's either +2 or +3 to the misfire.
Okay, so you are using your pistol or the other one?
Yes.
Your pistol?
Yeah.
Okay, so misfire is 1.
Right.
So if you're using violent shot, you're using 1 grit point on that?
Yeah. And damage will be 1d10.
For each point of grit expended, the attack gains +2 to the firearms misfire score.
So it'll be 3 misfire.
So it'll be 3 to misfire.
And damage die will be, well, if I make the violent shot, it'll be 2d10 because it's doubled, but it's a d10 because I'm using a single pistol as opposed to the 2.
You can roll 1 additional weapon damage die per grit point spent.
Right. So it would be 2d10
Yep.
if I made it.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
We're getting this thing, man. We're getting it. We're getting it.
Well, I'm so used to using the d8s because I'm
Yeah.
using both, you know? But, okay. So I will do that. Natural 20.
All right. Shit. Go ahead. You get a grit point back.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So you
So
rolled a natural 20.
I get that grit point back, and then it's gonna be.
We're getting it.
We're getting it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 3d10.
No. So you roll 2d10. So you double the dice. So you roll 4d10.
Oh, so I double, including the
yes.
violent shot.
Any dice that you roll, you
doubled.
double. You automatically double on a crit.
Got it.
That's why Gunslinger is so amazing.
I should have spent 5 grit points on that. Okay, so I only took out 1d10.
You would have obliterated this creature and all of its descendants.
Okay, almost there. Just go. Okay, cool. 4d10.
All right. God damn. Sounds like a rogue, this guy.
That's all right. It's 16, 19, 21 damage.
21. Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't you
I'm
have
sorry.
great?
It's actually 20. I'm not adding modifiers. Sorry.
You gotta add those.
It's yeah. It's
21, 22.
21 on
plus
the die.
your dexterity mod.
22, so 26.
26.
Do you have the great weapon fighting with fighter?
I don't. It's because that's a fighting style, right? The great weapon fighting.
Or is it just with the fighter class?
No, it's with his specific subclass.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
believe.
if he's a champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a champion.
Yeah.
All right, so you take aim. You use both hands now. I believe we did something for that too, right?
Well, we just modified the damage die for
the
having,
second gun.
Yeah, we lowered it to 1d8.
Yes,
so,
you're right.
Yeah.
All right, so so you blow the thing's ear clean off of its head, and one of the snake heads pops off. Looks pretty hurt, just with those 2 hits. Is that gonna end your turn?
I am going to. I have ammo left, so I'm going to extra attack and just take another regular shot at it.
Okay. Now you're full on grit points, so.
Yeah. So that's going to be 24.
That's a hit.
Okay.
So gonna roll damage.
1d10. Oh, d10. Where did I put those d10s? Oh, I put them back. Why did I do that? Okay. 2 plus 3 is 7.
7 points. As you blast off another snake right where the snake actually attaches at the cat's shoulder, just pops right off. Well done.
Now will end my turn.
That was a good turn, dude. All right. So next up, young Daedalus Hartwell. Now you know why I call you young.
I'm gonna cast Toll the Dead.
He's not effing around. Daedalus gives 0 Fs right now. He's like, I've been rolling like shit all night.
So
I'm done.
So let's see if I actually hit the thing though.
All right. Is that do you have to roll to hit with Toll the Dead, or do I just make the save?
I thought it was a save.
I think it's a save, dude. Let me just double check, because I don't want to shortchange you. But I think I just have to save against it or take X amount of damage,
I think it's a con save.
right? I think
It's
so.
necrotic.
That necrotic damage is some nasty business. Barag is still scarred by it to this day. Remember that one fight? He just...
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was more necrotic damage than health. He really was. Okay, you point at one creature you can see within range, and the sound of a dolorous bell fills the air around it for a moment. No, I just have to make a save, dude. You just say, I cast Toll the Dead, and I just make a wisdom save.
Oh, wisdom. Okay.
So what's your saving throw?
16.
And you're casting this at 5th level. So that is...
Well, it's a can.
increases by 1...
Oh yeah, I am casting at 5th level.
Yeah, you are casting
So I
at
just
5th level.
I get to use these two. If you don't
Yes. Alright, so let's go ahead and...
roll against 16.
wow, natural 3. So, hit me with it.
Okay, so the damage you're taking 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Woo! Alright.
And And once again, you see that monk in his bell appear.
Yeah.
And he just leans up and you see him go.
So the arcane energy, this form is constructed of arcane energy. This arcane monk chimes this bell.
And then he bows and then he disappears.
All right, I like it. I like it a lot. And all of a sudden, this cat erupts with blisters and boils. Almost looks like rot. Just appears. Two of the snakes falls completely off of its body. It is looking in rough shape. One of the eyes falls out of its skull, just kind of hanging there. It's looking pretty bad. All right, next up, it's going to be it. And it is going to try to get away. So, it's going to take full movement. I believe it's 30, but let me just double check. Yeah, 30 feet. So it is going to move a full 30 feet. Right, next up, Terra.
Actually, since it's a melee range.
Oh, I was waiting for it. I'm like, she totally missed it. You guys can chime in on that stuff too.
I am going to attack it.
All right, go for it. What'd you roll?
14.
You hit it.
Holy sweet beans. Okay.
So quickly, you see this thing. You see the muscles in its back and its legs begin to tense up, and you know instinctively this thing is going to make a break for it. And as soon as it starts to jump, you take your dagger very quickly with the chain still attached. You throw it, and it sinks right at center mass, and you just see it fall to the ground motionless. Well done, guys.
Yay!
Yeah, done
All right.
deal.
Yeah. So what do you do?
I'm gonna actually tie up the legs with the rope I have in
From the mountain climbing pack?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna turn to Daedalus and Kohl. See if you can find a thick branch. We'll tie this thing up. And we'll carry it in.
Okay. So I look around for something suitable.
Make a perception roll.
22.
22. Yeah, easy enough. You're able to take a few saplings, kind of tie them together with some of the makeshift rope that you guys made, and it's strong enough where you can take this creature and kind of almost like a luau pig. Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
you put it on this pole that you've made, you've constructed, and you take it back to the temple. Do you know that thing did not, once initiative was rolled, it didn't get a single attack on you guys. You guys just completely destroyed it.
That's some good.
Oh, you guys all rolled really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you guys head back to the temple?
Yes, I'll be in the front
Okay.
so then I can...
Are you going to be visible?
Yes. Well, I mean, if I go in, I am, because my invisibility is spent. The spell is spent. So, if Kohl decides to enter the temple, then yes, he will be visible.
Okay. And Daedalus?
I have no means of going invisible. So.
So yeah, I'm just gonna carry it in there with Terra, like
So,
nothing unusual is
I'm
happening.
gonna turn to the both of them and
You guys remember me, right? I was in here before.
I promise. So
amazing.
I'm gonna turn to I almost said Talvis, Kohl and Daedalus, and don't say anything, and just follow my lead. Kohl, please.
Okay. I don't speak their language, so I'll just be quiet and nod a couple times. Actually, I'm
Alright
not going to
then.
nod because I don't want to nod at the wrong thing. So I will just stare in front of me.
That's a good point, actually, because this is a completely different culture. Like,
Yeah.
a nod could be families going to war and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Suddenly a whole generation gets fucking wiped out because you nodded.
Right. Cole
Right.
nodded.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's literally what I'm going to do. I'm just going to, not react.
So the hunt itself didn't take too long. I mean, you had reached there before lunch initially. So you get back, it's still very warm, very muggy. But the whole hunt itself took less than an hour, including dressing up the sacrifice. And by the time you get back, they're all waiting for you. Barag's still on the altar, and he is out like a light. And they did not take him off the altar. He's just being baked by the sun.
Have a gnarly sunburn.
Somebody make a medicine check. If you have a proficiency in it.
Not proficient.
Me neither.
Okay. All right. So you see them waiting, and as you actually approach the temple, the two large male humanoids see you from the top of the temple. They've been kind of waiting with anticipation, and you hear them saying Draconic, "They approach, they approach."
And so we walk on in through the tunnel.
Okay. So you do see Serena there with her two very long daggers, and she sees you for the first time and initially puts her daggers right at you, and they're pointing at you. She's not making a move, but she's letting you know she's ready for your move.
So
I just don't react.
So
I don't nod.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
So I speak in Draconic to them. They are of no threat. They are my personal property.
Soft things, soft things.
They will not harm. They are just measly peasants.
Measly.
Weak flesh.
Weak.
And so, I snap my fingers and motion to Kohl and Daedalus to bring the sacrifice.
So they see you bring this mangled cat and realize you hit it with necrotic damage. This thing looks destroyed. Flesh hanging off, pools of black blood, blisters, boils, necrotic flesh.
The best we could do on short notice.
Right? We couldn't put in a reservation in time.
What do you want?
What do you want from me? There's
Not
no
Burger King's,
dinosaurs.
you don't get it your way.
Yeah, I guess it's made to order.
Yeah. So she
It's on the fly.
She looks at it. Abomination. And she points to where the serpents meet the shoulder blades of the cat.
And so I say yes. It is why it is suitable prey. Such an abomination like this should not exist.
So she looks at you. Make a persuasion roll.
18.
18. Alright. So you detect her initial resistance to the sacrifice, but you seem to kind of won her over. Like, this is an abomination and it needs to be destroyed for Dendar. So she says, yes, sacrifice, sacrifice. And so she takes the large handle, the lever, and she pulls it. The altar comes up and just kind of like tilts. And you see Brog slide off the altar, right off into the water. Bloop. And he's just kind of floating. You just see his belly and the high points of his face as he's starting to float down the river. She pulls back the lever, and then the altar comes back. And she points and she says, sacrifice, sacrifice.
So,
is the river,
it's,
at floor level? Is it like...
No, he blooped down there.
bloop. So there's a river that's going down and then it's leading out.
Yeah, the river runs contralateral to it runs side by side to the temple.
Okay, so it carried him outside?
It's carrying him downriver.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna
As
turn.
he's just kind of floating in his loincloth, unconscious, down the river. You see him every once in a while. His body is stiff, and he's not waking up. But you see him hit a rock, and then go back to the middle, and then he kind of every once in a while he'll spin in a little whirlpool, and then hit another rock, and then he almost looks like one of those bumper boats
Oh.
as he continues kind of floating downriver.
So I'm gonna take off at a run and see if I can like pull him in toward like out of the water.
Oh, you got to get in.
I have to get
first.
in.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I
you got to
will-
jump into the river.
Okay.
It's about a 15-foot drop.
Okay. So
Are we gonna take damage if we dive in, or?
I can't tell you that,
Um,
dude.
Well, I'm gonna try and dive in. I'm
Okay.
gonna run and jump into the water.
Sure. Let's go ahead and let's call that straight dexterity.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
Straight dexterity.
So
You are wearing heavy armor.
Mm.
You are going to be at a disadvantage to A, hit this check,
Okay.
and B, to even stay afloat. You're basically wearing weights.
Okay. I'm gonna say the dwarven words that cause those ones.
Yes.
And
Right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take the armor off, and then dive in the water.
Okay, so quickly it separates and then reforms next to you.
Completely forgot I had it.
so as
I
they
didn't.
Not used to it.
so as they
13 plus 1.
as they go into dive mode, and he rolled a nat 20.
Yeah.
So as they go to dive, I turn to Serena to kind of explain. They're just collecting my property for me. I couldn't go back without it, or else there would be punishment.
So you see her one eyebrow kind of raise almost inquisitively. Private ceremony. Leave.
Very well. We will take our leave.
So she points to the armor and just dumps it into the water.
And I leave. I'm just
What
like
can you
I'm
do?
not gonna
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna even bother.
Sure.
Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah, no.
I'm not gonna poke the bear.
Absolutely. She doesn't want any of that stuff in her temple.
Yeah.
The armor's in the water?
Yeah, no, the
armor's
armor's in the water.
Oh, no.
Sunken. All right, so Daedalus, you managed to get a nice dive in there, and Kohl, you Ken Phelps this shit. yeah. You're like Ronnie Dangerfield from Back to School.
It's like
You do a triple Lindig right into the water.
off of the Yuan-Ti altar, just
Hey, Kohl gets no respect, and then dives. All right, so you dive into the river after the bumper boat barrage, and so Terra.
I'm actually when I leave the temple, I'm gonna run and see if I can find the river that it's.
Easily enough. I
Yeah.
mean, it as long as you can keep it to your left once you get outside the temple.
Okay, then that's what I'm gonna do.
All right, so they are going faster than you are. You have a movement speed of 25, but the river is carrying them very, very quickly. So I need everybody to make an athletics check for your swim. Not you, Tara, because you're not in the water.
Oh, okay.
Just whoever's in the water.
16.
I'm gonna cash in the inspiration for this one.
Okay.
And she's not near us, is she?
No, she's still on the land.
Because I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1.
How
all
far
right.
away are you?
He's too far for to impart your
okay.
halfling luck.
Okay.
It was a good thought, though. But your coat actually gets caught on some of the branches as you're trying to close the gap between you and Kohl and Barag. You keep getting stopped, and Terra, you're actually kind of catching up to Daedalus now, as you see him kind of struggling with all of the thickets and the branches that are kind of
So
overhanging
is
the river.
how many branches are on him right now currently?
It's more underwater than
Okay.
over the water.
Okay. So I'm gonna actually hop in with him and kind of cut the branches.
Okay. Okay, easily enough. But why don't you go and make a dexterity roll for me?
20.
20. All right. So easily enough, you make it look easy. But with your past on the high seas, you have jumped into many a body of water before. So for you, it's kind of old hat as you jump into the river, and you're able to free Daedalus from his tangle of vines and branches. You guys continue after Barag. You guys see rapids coming very quickly. Barag, you see him every once in a while. You'll see him go under the white water, and you're like, "Oh my god!" And then he pops back up onto the surface.
And just kind of sigh.
He's perfectly stiff. He is as stiff as a board. And then you see him go under and then pop up. So this will be an athletics check to actually catch up to Barag for Kohl. For Terra and Daedalus, you are a bit behind Kohl, so you're trying to close the gap. So I need everybody to make an athletics check.
17.
Okay.
13.
Okay.
16.
All right. So you guys kind of close the gap. I need you to make a nature check. And by you, I mean Terra. I'm sorry.
18.
You hear something. Actually, I would say even you, Kohl, because this has happened to you and Barag and Daedalus. You hear waterfall up ahead. And you know that you are not going to be able to swim backwards against the river, towing an unconscious, stiff Barag. What do you do?
So I'm caught up to him.
You're caught up to him. You kind of have your arm around him. You can kind of feel him breathing. And you see this green goo coming out of two holes that are in his neck. But you have your arm around him.
Well,
and you see now Daedalus and Terra are quickly closing the distance. Essentially, they are swimming with the current, and you are trying to work against the current. So they are coming at you at a very high rate of speed.
is Rocky alongside the river?
Alongside the river.
So as we're basically catching up, I'm gonna yell at Rocky. Now would be a good time as any. We're about to hit waterfall. Please, Rocky, if you wouldn't mind getting a little bigger, please.
You don't know that he got bigger.
No, I do, because they told me.
Did they?
Yep.
All right. Okay.
They told me after I woke up, and they said, Rocky is not just a little rock.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Okay, good enough. All right, so
I haven't seen him in his big size, but I know
you saw a glimpse of a large golem, a large creature.
Yeah, a large creature, but I don't know what he looks like.
Before you fell unconscious.
Yeah.
It just continues to roll.
God damn it, Rocky. So, I'm actually gonna hook my dagger to... Is it still hooked to my brace?
Yeah, your brace.
Okay.
Sure.
So, once I get close enough to Kohl and Barag, I'm going to tell them to kind of hold on to each other and then have Daedalus hold on to me.
We got to resolve that first.
Yeah.
So, because you guys are coming at Barag and Kohl like two missiles. I mean, the current is fast. Mm-hmm. This is white water. So, as Terra, your head is bobbing up and down. Same thing with you, Daedalus. You are not as strong as some of your comrades, so it's even more difficult for you to maintain any semblance of control. So you are careening towards Barag and Kohl. I'm going to say, both of you, this is going to be it would be a contested... No, not contested. It would be a group athletic check. because you're working together. However, it would be at disadvantage because you are in whitewater. You're in a whitewater rapid, so it kind of cancels out the disadvantage. So this would be just a regular athletics check with both of you working to get this job done to sort of maintain or get some sort of control. As you guys are approaching the rapids, you see that Kohl and Barag have slowed down and stopped before hitting the rapids. So you're trying to stop right now. So go ahead and make your single roll. DC, I'm going to tell you before you roll. It's 19.
Okay. Oh my god.
What'd you roll?
13.
All right.
Oh,
So-
no, hold on. 9. No, yeah, 13.
So Daedalus, Terra has you by one hand. She's got her frostband dagger by the other. The rapids are going fast, and you guys are trying to work against the current, and you're exhausted. She's exhausted, and you can't seem to slow down at all. You see Kohl quickly approaching as you guys are coming fast, and Cole's eyes kind of get big as he realizes, oh shit, these guys are not slowing down. So they almost clothesline you, Kohl and Barag. All four of you go over the waterfall, about 75 feet down to the bottom. You splash to the bottom, and if you were up top, you would see a stone fall right into
It's
the
exactly what you want when you're
yeah.
falling in the water.
So I need everybody to make another athletics check.
Now I'm. God dang it.
What'd you roll?
21.
All right.
Where were you?
I saw that wince of pain. Kohl.
Yeah, it could have been worse, but I know it's not going to be good enough. No, why not? I'm going to spend an inspiration.
Okay.
If it was a little higher, I might not.
I rolled
Athletics, right?
Yes.
I rolled a 3, so
Daedalus and water are not friends. 12.
no.
12. Okay. Terra, you're the first one to pop up out of the water, and as you pop up, you see Barag just stiff as a board, eyes closed, just floating on the top of the water. As the water from up top comes crashing down on you, and then Kohl is the second one to pop his head out. But you don't see a Daedalus.
So I'm gonna actually dive under the waterfall,
Okay.
and since I have gills now, I'm gonna swim to see if I can find him.
Okay. So easily enough, you're able to breathe the water as if you're able to breathe air, and you do make a perception roll, please, so you can
20.
20. You do see Daedalus. He is still under the water, bleeding from his head.
So I'm gonna take off like my coat
Mm-hmm.
and wrap it around his head
Are you gonna get him, pop him up?
and
or-
pop him up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and make an athletics check, because you're gonna grab him and make a run for the surface with Daedalus and so.
16.
16. Okay. So Terra goes down underneath the water for about 30 seconds, after which she pops up with Daedalus, who is again bleeding from the head, and you just can't help but think this happens to Daedalus a lot with water.
This has happened recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't join the dive team, Daedalus. So, and you see Barag just like floating calmly to the shore.
So I swim over to where Barag's at, and cause Terra's carrying Daedalus.
Yeah, I would say all of you are kind of working together to get to the shore easily enough.
Okay.
You wouldn't even have to roll for it.
Okay, so we'll do that.
and you can use Barag as a flotation device, as he's just kind of literally he's stiff. He's a little looser than when you initially made contact with him before you guys hit the waterfall. So you guys get to the shore. It's mud everywhere. You guys are just covered head to toe in mud. Daedalus, blood and mud. But you guys get there and you drag Barag onto the shore of this river, and he begins to come to, and he says, "We'll see you guys next week for another episode of the story thus far." Well done, guys!
Yeah,
you
cool.
rescued Barag.
What a weird thing for Barag to say. See you next week.
That's not what Barag's first words will be.
His first words will probably be, "Where's my armor?"
Yes, you guys are gonna have to explain what happened, where, why, and who knows what'll happen.
Barag doesn't have any armor.
By the way, you may not have that awesome magical armor.
Yeah, something might have happened to it.
Something might have happened
in the course of saving your life.
But you are alive. That's
Yeah.
right. Barag, it's not about material possessions. Get over yourself.
Yeah, you're a hardy dwarf. You can face any enemy down.
Stop being so basic, bro.
Oh man.
All right, guys. So that was the latest episode number 30 of the story thus far. Our dwarven friend Barag was in a bit of a pickle today, but Valor's Ransom managed to pull together as a team. Sometimes it was a little contentious, but you guys made it through. Well done, guys. I'm super proud of you. Except for Kyle's rolls, which I was not particularly proud of or fond of. Neither should you be, Kyle. I'm not, he says. Alright, guys. Thank you for joining us for the story thus far. We had a blast recording this. I had a blast recording this.
Yeah.
Hope you guys did too. We'll see you guys next week for the story thus far. I almost forgot to mention that myself and Terra and Barag will be at Long Beach Comic Con on Sunday.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll try to take some pictures and share them on Instagram, on our Instagram feed.
Yes.
So, so that's about it. Other than that, guys, anything else?
Nope.
Nope, that's
All right.
it.
Be amazing, play D&D, and love each other. Good night.
Good night.
You guys rocked it, man. You guys rocked it.